That's right, we bad.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
All right, welcome to Hipiam Fishing again. This is my top 5 fishing baits for 2020. I got all this tackle right here that I think is a little overkill, but I had a really good season last year, so I'm just going to focus on the top 5 baits. When I find something that works, I stick with it, and that's what this video is going to be about. So thanks for watching, and here they come. Live bait, minnows and night crawlers. This year I had a lot of success with minnows, catching crappie, perch, and bluegill. Prior to this year, I was probably 10% of the time out on the boat I'd pick something up with minnows. But I got some tutelage from Badmouth Fishing, Brian Nicholas, and the light bulb finally went on for me using minnows. I actually caught some fish in the ocean, cast netting live mullet, which are minnows, bait fish, and using that to catch some other fish at the ocean. Night crawlers, seems like the fish bite on night crawlers in the spring. As soon as the ground thaws out and they start coming up to the surface in your backyard when it rains, it's the same time that the fish seem to really like that. I don't tie the night crawlers in a knot. I hook them on the hook naturally so they look natural. Sometimes I break them in half, but night crawlers on jigs and some other baits has always been a successful bait for me. I'm not ashamed to use live bait. It works, it catches fish, and that's what we're out there trying to do. Jig heads, the smallest that you could find at Walmart. The 1/32 ounce are the smallest that I've been able to find. They're cheap, a couple dollars a box. I got some Strike Keen Mr. Crappie ones too off of Amazon. But the smaller the better, in my opinion. It lets the minnow swim around more. If you put something on too heavy, it just bogs the bait down when you're using minnows. So I love these things. You get a lot of snags. Sometimes you just break them off and tie a new one on. I also used these crappie jig baits from Mr. Crappie. I think this was like 10, 12, 15 bucks for a nice little kit. But these are all pretty solid. They stay on the hook well. They're not super soft. But if you're trying to catch crappie, this setup's good. I'm a big minnow guy now, so I recommend these smaller jig heads to let the minnow do its job. Black twisty tail worm, specifically the big bite baits, crate tail worms. They come in a pack of 10. I picked these up off of Amazon. The water that I fish in at the 2 lakes that I primarily go to is normally real muddy, and it seems like the color black does really well. It doesn't seem like it does. But I got this set up as a Texas rig. I got a bullet weight with the bobber stopper right here. Hopefully that's picking up. Gamakatsu 3 and 4/0 hooks are the hooks that I use. You notice there's a notch in here, so it's weedless. So when you pull this thing through the water, if you hit tree branches or rocks, the bullet weight helps get it through. You don't get hooked on the hook tip unless the fish bites down. When they bite down, that hook is exposed, and you set the line. Now, I've been using this for, oh geez, 3-4 years now. I actually keep 2 rods with these set up in case I have a line break and I start to get in something, but I primarily use this bait for bass. But I have caught 2 monster muskies using this, and I actually had a line breaker last year with probably the biggest muskie I ever hooked. When I say big muskies, I'm in the 35 to 40 inch range. So, but normally I'm just fishing for bass and I get muskie hits. So great bait, highly recommended. That's my number 3. Rapella Husky Jerkbaits. This is an HJ10. I found it in my tackle box. I remember buying it. Our local hardware store was moving and a lot of items were on clearance, so I think I picked this up for a couple of bucks. They probably cost $6, $7, $8 if you buy them at the Cabela's or online. But it's got a rattle inside. Hopefully you can hear that. And a guy at the dock told me this summer, he says, if you see the shad popping, that means fish are feeding, so throw this out in the middle of it, which I did. I caught a monster hybrid bass, which is a cross between a striped bass and a white bass. Probably, he was pushing about 9 pounds. That same day I caught a 4-pounder. Probably caught 5, 6 more of those using this bait. I caught some largemouth bass using this bait. I caught a muskie at the end of the season using this bait, and I caught my biggest perch ever using this bait. So this bad boy's tied on a rod in the boat, always, in case I see some shad popping. The way you throw this, I got it on a fluorocarbon leader with 30-pound braid. Throw it out there, wait for the rings to subside in the water, and then just jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, 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 pause. You can use a straight retrieve on it. That's how I got the muskie. But the other fish, it was using that jerking action to get the fish to see it and then come over and think it's a wounded bait fish. So Husky jerk bait, they got multiple colors. I'm going to throw one that's perch color this year along with this bad boy. So he's got some teeth marks in him too. Great bait, highly recommended. My number one bait, fin spin jig heads. They come in 1/8, 1/16, and 1/32 ounce. These are the small 1/32 ounce up top here, which is basically the size of the lead on the bait. I'm going to use these, which I just got for the first time next year with minnows, so the minnows can do the work like I talked about earlier. The heavier ones I've used for trolling and pitching and retrieving. I'm just excited about using a lighter one based on my experiences last year with jig heads. You can buy these packages on Amazon, or you can buy directly from Leland Lures. They have a special in the winter sometimes for free shipping and 10% off. I've caught every species of fish in northeastern Ohio on this lure, and I'll go through them real quick. Crappie, bluegill, perch, muskie. I caught a huge carp on these. Lots of catfish, bass, and I picked up some walleye on these last year using a night crawler, half a night crawler at the end of them. So kind of like a Erie Deary effect with this blade. The fish love this blade. I've had hits on the fall, retrieve. I've had hits dead sticking, just goofing around. So highly recommend this. This is my number one bait. Usually have 2 poles with this tied on. And if I'm having a bad day, I know I can always grab one of those poles, put a half a night crawler on or a minnow, and throw it out there and pick something up. So that's it. My number one bait for 2020. Alright, thanks for watching this video of my top 5 2020 baits. Hopefully this helps you out for 2021. It's time for me to start packing up. If you stay on for a few minutes, you'll see a slideshow of some of the big fish that we caught this past summer. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the like button. And thanks for watching.